Good morning, guys. Welcome to my channel. So today my plan is we're gonna do a general collective right now, and then I want to do earth signs. Alright, just gonna do a little past, present, future check-in on whatever situation is brought to mind. So Spirit, thank you. Please help me bring the best clear messages to collective for what they need to know today. So tell me what is the situation? What is this all about? Loosely. Seven of Air. Here we go. Maybe just one or two more, Spirit, just to see what it's all about. Just I'm reading this as deception, but also planning an escape of some sort. Four of Earth. You know, taking what you've learned so far and building your foundation. And Ten of Water. So, you know, basically like your ultimate happiness, like your fulfillment, happiness, love, satisfied with your life, emotional fulfillment. I just heard that there is some foundation that appears happy, but it was built on lies of some sort. And looking at the bubbles here and the Ten of Waters, it looks like maybe they're coming up to the surface. The discrepancies. Yeah, like this Ten of Wands, see, he's on like ice, like a glacier, right? He's pretty big to be on that. The foundation isn't strong enough to carry the weight of what's been put on it. And the reason being is because it was built on discrepancies which created cracks. The Hermit. You know, if this is a people-pleasing scenario, it could be that you just kept your mouth shut just to keep the peace type of thing. Or, you know, these little things keep coming up, and the person who's not aware of the cracks doesn't understand why weird little challenges keep coming up. And so you're a person who didn't cause the cracks. You're going inside like, what is wrong? What am I doing wrong? Person who caused the cracks, even possibly just by omission, is like, I can't say anything now. It's too late to say something now. What do I do? Queen of Air, Queen of Swords. So, I feel like maybe you are, collective who I'm talking to is, the party who doesn't realize what cracks the foundation was built on. You know, what was just paved over instead of torn up first. Like, I don't need to bring that up. It's never gonna come up. Something like that. And now it is, and you're like, what is this? Like a kid, like something like maybe that's a little drastic, I don't know, but like something like that. Like, why didn't you say something? Yeah, I think it's, well, I don't know yet, but it seems, I think this is kind of gearing up to something happening to like kind of confirm the little, that doesn't sound right. Because Queen of Swords, I feel like you're like investigating and you're trying to get to the bottom of like, what is going on? Like, something is wrong, and I think you're right. I don't know what yet, but I think you're right. But you don't know the root causes because there's some, you know, deception at the bottom of it all. You're just like, what is wrong? What is going on? This doesn't compute. Alright, how was this, affecting collective before we get into the past, present, future? How's this affecting them? Seven of Cups, it's causing confusion. You're kind of dissecting every little thing and you don't quite know what to believe. Like everything, every little gesture, weird comment, suspicion, intuition, like you're like combing over everything. But it's making you, everything that you kind of look more into, it's making you more like, kind of like confused and not knowing what to believe, I think. Because, of course, you're going to try to, if it's something you don't want to see, you're going to try to explain it away first. You know, stuff like that. You could be self-medicating, drinking a lot, smoking a lot. Can I have a couple more, please, there about how this is making collective feel? Whatever this is going on. Five of Cups, you know, a sense of loss and sadness. Oracle of Pentacles. I feel like, you know, obviously this seems like it's going in the direction of like a relationship type of thing. It could change. I feel like whatever this is, you're kind of confused about the whole thing. Like, more things that come out, you're like, well, I don't even... what is all of this, right? And so you feel a sense of loss and kind of like devastated in a way. And I feel like you felt like Queen of Pentacles was kind of like your next step, right? Like nurturing and probably having like a family to take care of, and you know, Queen of Pentacles, like you're pretty like established and comfortable, you know, like I feel like you're like, alright, we're gonna be like an adult couple, family, whatever, you know. I'm gonna get to do this part of my life now, and whatever it is they didn't tell you or didn't get addressed in the beginning is coming up. And again, I don't know if it's something you're finding out that they were like, oh, I just never brought it up because of whatever, or if it's like something you didn't like and you thought it was no big deal, and now it's kind of, since then there's been like more things you didn't like, you know, and it's kind of like now you're like, there's only so many like ants or flies you can paint over on the wall. There's only so many times you can paint over paneling. Yeah, something's just not solid about the foundation, but I feel like maybe you were willing to, like, you know, be happy for as long as you could on that slab of ice. Hoping to get to the, you know, Queen of Pentacles, and then maybe, like, you could just make sure everything was taken care of, you know? I don't know whose kid that is. 9 of Wands. In the reverse. It makes you feel like giving up. I was gonna stop shuffling, see? You don't want to play this game. That's what it is. You're like, I don't want to play this game. I wonder what happened. Champion of Pentacles. I feel like, I feel like this has been, like, a long time coming. And I think you're ready to give up, and you feel like this loss of this life. Because you thought it was, like, you know, slow and steady trajectory, whatever. You know, you can deal with these little things as they come up. And you're like, why did you let us get this far along? Before you decided to tell me this. It's something like that. Like, they're gonna wanna, like, travel. Or something like that, and, like, you can't, like, you have a felony or something. Or you're on probation, or you're, whatever, you know, like, something like that, but if there's been no need to, like, bring it up, maybe it's gonna get wiped from your record soon, or something, you know, something like that. The person, obviously. I feel like maybe there's two. I feel like maybe there's two sides of this coin watching this. I'm just saying. It could be. Not necessarily the actual couple, but, you know. Interesting. Because man or woman, you know, whatever. You could be the Deceptor. That's a good, like, final boss name. The Deceptor. Or you could be like, what is going on here? I'm done. Either one. Deceptor. I kind of have to get these out of the way because of, the spread I'm doing takes up a little bit of space. So we'll do it like this. Perfect. It's getting hot in here. It's not like you can't hear everybody anyway. It was must have like the light I didn't want. You son of a bitch. There you go. Sorry guys. This is why it takes me so long to set up. I'm so picky. I am so ADD though. Like I'll set something up and then I destroy it. It's no remorse. So beautiful, so particular. Destroyed within like 2 weeks. I just had help cleaning up my office at work. It was great. I think I talked about this in a reading recently. I'm not organized. I know where everything is. You know, it's really because I'm just so busy. Some things get tossed down the priority, scale. I just don't see it. Alright. Perfect. Alright, what's the past about? I don't like the light. I don't like the light. Alright. Two of Swords. I wonder who I'm reading for. Like I said, I'm getting the nods on both sides. I just feel like it was weird how it was like, you might, not be able to travel. I didn't turn over yet. King of Wands, the Empress, I feel like I'm too close. Knight of Cups, Four of Pentacles. All right. So, whether you're the King of Wands or the Empress in this scenario, you guys took action in going forward to start building your foundation together. Whoa. Ace of Cups. Yeah. You started this new love offer and you guys took action going forward. Building something you love. And like I said, the Four of Pentacles came out again, so that's nodding to your foundation. Crazy when it's so cohesive. I'm in the zone today though, guys. I'm kind of not surprised. I'm surprised like my Alexa isn't telling the story for me. Alright, thank you, Spirit. I'm watching this possibly tumultuous love story unfold. Maybe it's something simple, and it's just like, why didn't you tell me this? Like, what the hell? And they're like, I didn't know if I could, and like, they really never thought it was going to come up, but now they know they could, and they feel bad, or it's something else. You know, it's something like they didn't want to bring up because they didn't want you digging. How to say it out of mind, what you don't know will hurt you, all those type of things. Wheel of Fortune. You know, I think that's a little hint that the counterpart is the King of Wands and not the Emperor. So, I feel like whoever's the King of Wands is who was lacking in the foundation. We'll see. Oh. Alright, present energy. Hopefully this will tell us what happened. High Priestess. Six of Pentacles. Ten of Swords. Something notable, the Fool. Okay, so something tipped you off. Like I said, remember I said you're investigating? The High Priestess. I think you've investigated and you found enough stuff to like really kind of like, you know, whatever your suspicion is true. And you're kind of just like waiting for something new to come up. Because I think it's been all circumstantial. And it's something about, you know, the balancing of the finances. So maybe it's like now that you're together, you're kind of seeing that it's not an equal give and take. Maybe they kind of inflated their worth fiscally. And you're like, no, we need to put an end to this. And you're kind of like thinking back to like the beginning, like, yeah, that makes sense. You don't see it in the beginning when you're like, oh, this person's wonderful, they're great. Of course they are. You know, you might actually feel like a fool, but I don't think you should, because it's not. I feel like it's probably something you didn't know. Maybe they do have a lot of debt, or maybe like they weren't at their job as long as they say, or like you find out they have like a huge like broken job history, or whatever, or like. Maybe they just blow all their money. It can be something as simple as that, you know. And you're like, maybe they gamble. Queen of Cups. Whatever it is, I still feel like you're giving them like the benefit of the doubt and approaching this in kind of like a gentle way, because you do love the person, but you're like, you can't deny all these things, and I am an Empress, so I'm gonna come to you with this, and I don't like this, and if this doesn't stop, this is done. I think that's just, you know, how it is, which is not bad. I wonder what it is. was all about. It can even be equal give and take as a whole. You know, the King of Wands and the Empress. King of Wands can be kind of, on the go all the time, you know? Yeah. And you're ready to, like, settle down. Maybe that could be it too. Like, why didn't you tell me you didn't want, like, a kid? For example, you know. That could be it. That's why he's still King of Wands, you know, and not an Emperor. You maybe found out, like, they don't want kids, they don't want marriage, they don't want any of that, you know, and you're like, what the hell? Why are we building a foundation if, what's the goal here? And you're kind of looking back and you're like, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. But in the beginning, in the beginning, when they would say things like, oh, I don't want any more kids. Or, I don't want kids. Or, I don't believe in marriage. You didn't believe them. So you didn't say anything. So there's a rocky foundation. Because you didn't, like, you weren't like, really? You just assumed that they weren't, like, really. You just thought everybody would. Well, no, not everybody does. I know a few people who decided to not have kids. That could be definitely just like life differences that you didn't want to have the conversation then for fear it would like mess up. And you're like, I can convince them later. Or you just, I don't know, you just figured like, they don't mean it. Some people mean it. If someone's like, I don't want to have kids, listen to them. Why would you ever make someone who didn't want kids have a lifelong commitment in this world? That's silly. What is a little glimpse into the future? Yeah. It all coincides with that. Like, you thought you were on this clear, I'm the Empress, in no time he'll be the Emperor, Mom and Dad, we're gonna have a family, we're gonna, you know, and they were like, I told you. Or just different. I feel like maybe, I don't know if it's cultural differences you're not agreeing on, religious differences, or just life decisions in general, but you're not seeing eye to eye about something. And it looks like it's more so the scenario of you keeping your mouth shut to like keep the peace, rather than the other person not saying something. I feel like they did. You're like, no. Again, man or woman. Men think like that too. Men fall in love too. Men have unrequited love too. You know, and if the roles are reversed, the woman could be in her masculine King of Wands. It makes sense. Whoever was the first to feel like they're ready to settle down would be the Empress, man or woman. Okay. This is funny. This is very clear to me. So for the future, we have 8 of Wands, Judgment, 9 of Cups, and 9 of Wands. So I feel like, you know, with all the information coming into you, even though you kind of, you know, didn't believe them in a way, it wasn't like malicious. It was really, you just like, yeah, okay, sure, we're just young, or we're just, you know, you already have kids, or whatever the thing was that they were like, I don't want, you were like, yeah, okay. But again, it wasn't like you were trying to trick them into it. You really just thought, like, okay, it didn't even cross your mind that that was like a serious, literal thing. You know, so, with all of that coming in, I feel like you like assess the situation. I think you're assessing, what do you actually really want? And why were you so gung-ho to just fixate on, you know, this long-term monogamous marriage, blah, 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 you know, and it seems after all of this, you realize that you're happy with yourself, but you also know what you want, and you do want a happy family, and you're like, you are at the moment in your life right before like that would be, right? And you're like, that is what I want, and you don't want to waste time on a relationship that's not going in the same direction. I don't see any like animosity or anything here. I feel like this is just like you really don't want kids. I do feel like too much time went by, and I feel like that was causing some like, you know, at first to put an ending to it, but I think you do, and I think you go back out there and you start dating like-minded people who are, you know, have the same goals, the same passions as you to like start this family, or whatever it is. Yeah, I feel like it's more like the relationship family. I mean, family, depending on your age, doesn't mean having kids, just like family. Maybe it's someone going into business. It could be that too. But one person wasn't in it for the long term. They were just kind of like getting you started. Like the Empress could be a business owner. You're just getting the King of Wands on their feet. Type of thing. I feel like it's more like, the original story. But again, whatever it makes you think of, like, that sounds like this. Yeah, if it's for you, that's what it's going to make you think of. They show me the story to make you think of what you're supposed to think of, Four of Swords at the bottom of this deck. So yeah, I think you might be a little older, because Queens and Empresses are coming up, and this looks like after, like the realization you guys weren't on the same page, you like kind of thought about it, made an action plan, assess the situation, and went about your business pretty easily. Or you will. You will. That's the future. Right now, you're just kind of like dealing with finding out you guys are not on the same page, and you're putting into it, and you're kind of like piecing everything together. But just think about it. I feel like, maybe you spent a little bit too much time in this relationship than you should have, because you just have this in your head. I think it could have been anybody. I don't think it's you love this King of Wands so much. I think he was there, and you were like, oh, we're gonna play house, and you just you know what? Let's do an oracle, but let's do one of my new ones. Yeah, I don't really feel like I have to clarify this. It looks like you got into, in the recent past, you guys got into this relationship, kind of started working towards building your foundation and whatnot, and then I think right now you're kind of noticing like things aren't really jiving the way they were, and you're like, well, I think when you bring up any long-term conversations like kids, or if you just like, oh, when, like our grandkids in the future, or whatever they're like, grandkids, I think those are little things that are kind of coming up, and you're realizing you're not on the same page, like different stuff like that. And you gotta put an end to it. But again, I think it's making you realize, thinking back to the beginning, like, yeah, they said that. Like, I think they mean it. So, yeah. Reintroduce yourself. Reintroduce yourself. The old you has died. It's time to introduce the world to the version of you who is under that old skin you just shed. Today is the first day of your new story. It's mine. I wrote that. Reintroduce yourself. Yeah, it shows that you're going to be dating again. This is just a lesson, I think, for sure, definitely. If you're the Empress, you have a lot of experience, but listen when people say things, because they probably mean it. Like, no, just because it doesn't match what you want, sometimes we can twist it a little bit, right? Alright guys, it's pretty early. I think I am going to try to do the earth signs anyway. Like and subscribe if you're feeling my vibe, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.